Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to break down everything that the New York Jets did today outside of the stuff I already broke down, such as Bless Austin being released and us signing Red Wine. So in this one, I'm going to talk about the roster moves, who's placed on IR, some more releases, players that got claimed, and more players that got signed to the active roster, and also the practice squad. So in this video, there's a lot to get into. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. But before I do so, make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram and Twitter if you're not already at NYJets_media. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I got so much Jets content coming all throughout the season, so make sure you do so. Also, make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you're not already. Now let's actually get into the video. So first and foremost, let's talk about the moves that the New York Jets made an hour ago, including on the players that is placed in IR. So Connor McDermott, Jared Davis, and Ashton Davis, those are the three guys on the IR. Now, this is interesting. I didn't know that Ashton Davis was going to be placed in IR because he was activated off the PUP list, which is, a good sign for his development in terms of being ready for, week 2. But this means I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to play for the Jets at least for 2 or 3 weeks. Jared Davis, that's a given. We know that he's going to be out until week 6. Connor McDermott, he suffered a knee injury in preseason. So what this does is it opens up 3 roster spots for the Jets when we place these guys on IR. So the 3 guys that we signed to the roster is indeed tight end Ryan Griffin, tight end Daniel Brown, and safety Sherrod Niesman. So what this tells me is, I guess this is the tight end group that the Jets were rolling with all along. You guys saw my reaction yesterday to the Jets 53-man roster when we saw Ryan Griffin and Daniel Brown get cut, and I'm like, wait, what? And we traded Herndon? And we waived Kenny Yeboah at the time. I'm like, who's the tight ends on this roster? But we find out it's because they were waiting to place guys on IR, and Ryan Griffin and Daniel Brown are indeed with the New York Jets, and they are going to be back this year. And then we found out who else got released outside of Bless Austin, which is Jabari Zuniga. This is very interesting. He was our 3rd-round pick last year, Joe Douglas's draft pick. So obviously, we are very, very deep at this position, and Zuniga has been battling injuries all throughout training camp and preseason. He never really lived up to the 3rd-round hype. When we drafted him, we had some high hopes, but this is just another guy that the Jets did not feel like has a long-term future with this team, even though he is going into year number 2. And I think Jabari just happened to be part of the team and his position is the best position group on the New York Jets. I think that's the problem with Jabari. The Jets are so talented here. We have so many veterans where it's hard to keep a guy like Jabari when you have guys like Quinnen Williams and Foley and, Bryce Huff and JFM, and you guys know who's on the roster on the defensive line. So I think that's why Jabari was the odd man out. I expected him to get released initially. I was shocked that he made the roster, to be honest, but it is, at the end of the day, Jabari is indeed gone. And then the 2 players that we claimed off the waivers are defensive end edge rusher Timmy Ward and linebacker Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams is indeed Quinnen Williams' brother, his older brother, linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Robert Saleh has a lot of high praise for him today in his press conference. He's a very violent linebacker, as Robert Saleh said. We know that we need depth at the linebacker position. That's exactly what Quincy Williams is going to provide. And it's also awesome that we got the 2 brothers now, Quinnen and Quincy, on the New York Jets. And then Timmy Ward, he's a defensive end that played 1 game for the Kansas City Chiefs. He showed up in garbage time. He had 1 sack and then 1 performance he did have. 24 years old. Obviously, there's potential there. So the Jets are trying to acquire depth at the positions of the linebacker and edge rusher when it comes to claiming people off of the waiver wire. So it's really interesting to see all the moves that the Jets made. The 53-man roster is coming to fruition, and obviously, you guys know that Bless Austin was released today. I already made a whole video on that if you guys want to hear my thoughts. But one thing I did not mention in that video about Bless Austin, we got to hear what Robert Saleh had to say about it after I recorded the video, and Robert Saleh's reasoning is they have a long-term vision for this team right now, and it's the numbers game. So Bless Austin was the odd man out. They feel like Bless Austin does not have a long-term future on this team, so they'd rather cut him and let guys like Brandon Echols and Pinnock and all these younger rookies that we drafted get the opportunities to develop, because this Jets team has their vision on the long term. They're not going to sacrifice guys to get playing time when they don't have a future on this team. Like, for example, Robert Saleh and the Jets coaching staff, the front office, they probably discussed it. They said, yeah, Bless, he could play this year, but realistically, we don't really want to bring him back next year. I'm pretty sure he's on the last year of his contract anyway. So, they thought if he doesn't have a long-term vision on this team, if he's not part of our plans, there's really no reason for him to be on the roster. And yes, I know you're going to say cornerback position is the worst, position group on this team, where he's the only experienced guy in the team. Why would you release him? This Jets team knows what's coming. They're going to take the punches. They want to take the punches in order for this team to develop for the future. And I kind of like that mindset. The Jets are not sacrificing anything. Not saying keeping Bless is sacrificing anything for the future, but they really want to, develop the guys that they have in-house in the draft, like Michael Carter II, Javelin Guidry in the slot, Eccles on the outside, Pinnock, Isaiah Dunn. There's a lot of guys that they have a lot of upside, and the coaching staff wants them to get all the reps for the future. Now let's get into the practice squad. We assigned 13 players to the initial practice squad for the New York Jets. So running back Josh Adams, he made the practice squad, which is huge. I'm very happy with that. I did not think that he would be able to be on the practice squad, simply because I thought another team would want to pick him up in the waiver wire, since he is a very, good running back that's been in the league. We saw what he did in preseason, and a lot of Jets fans wanted him to make the initial 53-man roster over LaMichael Pirine. So I know a bunch of Jets fans are happy about this, including myself. Defensive lineman Ronald Blair, an edge rusher. We signed him a couple months ago. He has a lot of experience with Robert Saleh, so it's good to have him on the practice squad for depth there. Offensive lineman Grant Hermans. He is a undrafted free agent. We need depth at this O-line, so I'm glad that we are retaining some of our undrafted free agents on our practice squad, because that's what it's all about. Cornerback Lamar Jackson is indeed on the practice squad, which is good to see. He was one of the first people announced to get released. He was on the practice squad to begin last year, and then he ended up getting activated because we had so many injuries, and Lamar Jackson was, playing with the active roster last year, so it's pretty interesting. Quarterback Josh Johnson has been signed to the practice squad. We found out that the Jets wanted to sign James Morgan on the practice squad, but James Morgan decided to go to Carolina instead, which is very interesting. So see you later, James Morgan. Wide receiver DJ Montgomery is another one that signed with the Jets practice squad. Offensive lineman Jimmy Murray. Linebacker Delshawn Phillips. Undrafted free agent defensive lineman Hamilcar Rashed Jr. Another defensive lineman in Tanzel Smart. Wide receiver Vincent Smith, which I'm very happy about. I thought he was going to make the 53-man roster, to be honest, but he ended up getting released, and the Jets signed him to the practice squad. Offensive lineman Isaiah Williams. And last but not least, tight end Kenny Yeboah, the fan favorite. So these are the 13 guys that the Jets signed to the practice squad. I'm very happy with this list. I feel like there's nobody that I'm disappointed in. But the one thing that I'm noticing is where, I guess, Lawrence Cager did not get signed to the practice squad. So that's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens with that. They decided to go DJ Montgomery over Lawrence Cager, and obviously Vincent Smith, and, Lamar Jackson, Josh Adams. So we have depth on the practice squad, guys. I feel like this is an awesome list of practice squad guys. I feel like they decided to bring in the quarterback Josh Johnson as that veteran presence. We know that they chose Mike White to be the quarterback number 2. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts of all the roster moves that happened today. Let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts of the practice squad, of the injured reserve list, of the 53-man roster, and the people we cut, such as Bless Austin and Jabari. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys have to say. That is it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's go Jets. Peace.